evening. Welcome back to Twin State News. I'm Nicole Menner. It was a rival weekend in Starkville as Mississippi State hosted Ole Miss for a weekend showdown on the Diamond. And after splitting the doubleheader on Saturday, the arch rivals would be playing for it all in Game 3 yesterday. And what better way to close out a rival series than with extra innings? Things were all tied up at 5 in the bottom of the 11th when Luke Alexander launched a 2-run walk-off home run to finish things out in very dramatic fashion, giving the Bulldogs the 7-5 win and taking the series from Ole Miss for the third straight season.
As it came off the bat, yeah, it felt really good. I was looking fastball out over the plate, and he left it over the plate and took advantage of it. I mean, growing up as a Mississippi kid, you always choose between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I choose Mississippi State, and to hit a walk-off against Ole Miss it's a surreal moment.
Meanwhile, the Mississippi State football team held their first scrimmage of the spring season over the weekend as the Bulldogs worked on a lot of different phases, including the first-team offense squaring off against the first-team defense. And afterwards, Coach Moorhead reflected on what he saw from the team.
As I always say, pleased but not satisfied. You know, the first opportunity to come out in a live scrimmage situation, and you know, one of our goals. A couple of our goals to talk about dominating situational football and competing, and I thought we did those two things, and then improving every practice. You know, at the end of it, ultimately, you know, the offense coordinator wants the offense to do well, the defense coordinator wants the defense to do well, special teams coordinator wants special teams. But as a head coach, you know, you want to see a good give and take throughout the course of practice, and offense making plays, defense making plays, and I think we did that. You know, I thought for the first day in the live scrimmage situation, it was a good work by the guys.
In keeping with MSU football, but looking to the future, Mississippi State and Texas Tech have scheduled a home-and-home football series for 2028 and 2029. In the first game, Mississippi State will host Texas Tech in September of 2028, while the Bulldogs will head to Texas in September of 2029. The schools first met on the gridiron back in 1953 and haven't played a game since 1970, where the Bulldogs got the win. MSU leads the overall series 4-1 and 2. The Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series was in Texas on Sunday for the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500, and late in the opening stage, the defending series champ Martin Truex Jr. loses a right front tire and slams hard into the wall, so his day is done and he would finish last. As a result, Kevin Harvick taking stage 1. More right front tire issues coming midway through stage 2 when Kyle Larson has a meeting with the outside wall in turn 1, so his day also over. And the chaos would just continue to unfold in stage 3 when Denny Hamlin and Eric Almirola would make some contact, turning things into a multi-car pileup that would also collect Brad Keselowski, Jimmy Johnson, and a few others. So the question was, who would survive this messy day on the track? And the answer is that man, the 18 of Kyle Busch, finding the victory lane for the first time this year, locking himself into the postseason with his 5th straight top 3 finish.
Anytime you can win at a track that kind of isn't maybe one of your favorites or isn't one of your best, then it definitely means even more, you know, because it just, you try to focus on those tracks and make it a little bit more meaningful and a little bit more special to get it done.
This is now off to Bristol for next week's Food City 500. The 82nd Masters came to a thrilling end on its final day yesterday, and when things were all said and done, it was Patrick Reed who would go home with the coveted green jacket. Last year's champion Jordan Spieth gave Reed a run for his money in the middle of the final round yesterday. Spieth started 9 strokes back of Reed entering round 3, but he was on the verge of making one of the greatest comebacks in Masters history, running off 4 birdies across 5 holes on the back 9. He finished round 3 shooting a 64 and tying the record for the lowest Sunday round at Augusta. Ricky Fowler also making a late charge towards the top of the leaderboard with a final hole birdie to give him a 67 for the day and finishing at 14 under, just 1 stroke back of Reed, but in the end, Patrick Reed just holding down the green all weekend long, shooting a 71 in the final round and finishing at 15 under, as I said, just 1 shot ahead of Ricky Fowler.
Every time you think about it as a kid growing up, it's always, you know, this putts to win a green jacket, this putts to win the Masters. And you know, I think that's just because of the history and everything that's gone on here at Augusta National and how, you know, special it is to all the golfers and special it is to just golf in general around the world. To win your first majors is never going to be easy, and it definitely wasn't easy today. I mean, I knew it was going to be a dogfight, and you know, it's just a way of God basically saying that let's see if you have it. Everyone knows you have it physically. with the talent, but do you have it mentally? Can you handle those ups and downs throughout the round?
It was an intense day out there yesterday, but exciting to see him get the win.
You know, it was, but I was reading some interesting articles, though, about how he even said he could feel that many of the fans weren't rooting for him, right, because of his backstory and how, he's estranged, I guess, from his family, and there's some other interesting history there when he lived in that area, because I think he went to school at Georgia.
Then he transferred. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting backstory there, but it was sort of also a little bit of a story about redemption for him.
And I think a lot of people were rooting for Jordan Spieth. So when he started to make that comeback, I think people were just going crazy.
He's over here trying to say Jordan Spieth choked, but when you watch what you didn't really watch the Masters
run.
Yes, what he was doing at the end, no one can call that a choke because he was hitting birdie after birdie.
Birdie after birdie.
Yes, he played well.
Giving Reed a run for his money.
He played great, actually.
I agree.
His first major tournament.
Yeah.
So
We'll have to look forward to see what he can
him.
do in the future now.
Yeah.
Thanks.